the essence and evil of chesed. Ladies, chesed can be very, very evil. I want to come back to that a little bit later. I want to actually start. I want you to take your hand by source number 1, and I want you please to cover the Hebrew. Cover the Hebrew for a minute. Cover the Hebrew. This pasuk was actually we just read it in shul a couple days ago. I'm going to read you the English. I'm going to warn you now, it's not the most flattering pasuk in the Torah. We'll just leave it at that. And if a man, this is Vayikra, chapter 20, verse 17. And if a man shall take a sister, his father's daughter or his mother's daughter, i.e. half-sister, and see her nakedness, and she sees his nakedness, it is a shameful thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of the children of their people. He hath uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity. Basically, the brother and sister have an inappropriate encounter. Now, some of you have spent many years attending a Jewish day school. Many years. Some of you even spent over a year learning and studying full time in Israel. If you had to translate, your hand has to be covered, you cannot answer this question. If you had to pick a word that you know from Tanakh to translate the word shameful, what word might you use? Busha. Excellent. Another word? Cherpa. Fantastic. Busha. It is a busha and a cherpa. Right? Well, we know there were kinds of that before. Right? Any other words maybe? Sounds good to me? I can live with that. Remove your hand. What word does the Torah use? What's going on here? Chesed? Chesed? Well, I could have played the reverse game, right? Covered the English and asked you to please translate the Hebrew, right? It would have worked either way. So what is the obvious question when you read the pasuk? Ish asher yikach et achato bat aviv bat imo v'rat ervat avi teret ervato chesenu nichratu lenibnei amam ervat achato gila avono yisa. What is the obvious question? Obvious question is? What's the obvious question? Chesed? Why is it a chesed if a brother and a sister sleep together? How can that be chesed? It's a busha, it's a cherpa. Chesed? Now, you could argue, now it's not going to help you. If you're going to tell me, oh no, really chesed has to be translated as the, shall we say, the colloquial understanding of chesed, that's not going to solve our problem, right? Meaning, it's just going to add an additional layer of problem to this text. So we're stuck. You either want to tell me the English is a poor translation, I can live with that. And I can justify the word chesed. So we're going to study now, very quickly, a few different interpretations of this word. We're going to see Rashi. We're actually not going to see the Rashbam. You can read it later. We're going to see the Ramban. We're going to see the Malvi. But if you can read very closely in the font, under source 2, I want you to keep this in the back of your mind. Are any of these satisfactory for you? Do any one of these answers really make you feel satisfied with how they're trying to resolve the difficulty in the text, in the puzzle? Okay? The question is very simple. When we get to an answer, I think we'll have a tremendous understanding of what chesed really is all about. Let's take a look at Rashi. Source number 2. Chesedu Lashon Arabi. Where does Rashi need to go to answer this? Rashi has to what?
Open a dictionary.
But what type of dictionary? A Hebrew dictionary? He has to go to an Aramaic dictionary to resolve the Hebrew word. That's wild, no? He has to go to Aramaic. And says Rashi, no problem. Lashon Arami Cherpa. Someone here said Cherpa Babusha? Maybe it's not even a real Hebrew word, the word Cherpa. Chasuda, says Rashi. The word Cherpa meaning, Cherpa is a Hebrew word, but how do you translate Cherpa in Aramaic? It's Chasuda. So what's Rashi saying here? That the word Chesed here doesn't mean Chesed, it really means Cherpa. And the cherpa in Aramaic is chasuda, which is chesed. I.e., what is a cherpa? How would you translate cherpa? It is shameful. Wow. And look at the English translation. This, by the way, is the JTS translation. What is the translation? Shameful. Where are they getting the translation, the pasuk from in English? Just copy and paste it. It's from Rashi, shameful. What's the problem with Rashi? What's the problem with Rashi? Yeah. Wait. One Aramaic word among the Hebrew pasuk? Good. This was Daniel, maybe, right? What else? A couple places in Chumash which use Aramaic words, but very obvious that they're Aramaic. Yeah.
What's the Aramaic?
So, it's a great question that you're asking. Where do we see clearly, this is a bit of a tangent, where do we see clearly an Aramaic word in Chumash? Spoken by a non-Jew. The Jew calls it a different word. And he calls it Yagar Saduta. The Yaakov Karalo Gal'e. So we see this in Aramaic in Chumash, that's clear, right? Okay, question, maybe the word, oh wait. So, that's a great question. Obviously, Arameic's around at the time. Yes?
Also, the problem is that Chesed comes up tons of times in Tanakh, and
give an example in Sefer Bereshit, the word Chesed is found.
Well, Chesed the Emet.
I knew I was asking. I wasn't like choosing anybody. So tell me where Chesed is found. Yes?
I always mention Chesed and Emet.
Very good. I'll not take away Mitzrayim. It's the Chesed the Emet. Who says, Mi Amar Ami? Agreed to your question? Right?
Yaakov Yosef.
Yaakov. There's a Yosef. Don't bury me. The Chesed the Emet, right? Avram uses the word Chesed. Eliezer. So you want to tell me, oh wait a second. Everywhere I use the word Chesed is how we understand the word Chesed. Here's the very difficult. Very difficult, very strange, and very complicated. Let's take a look. Rashi's going to skip the Rashba. So take a look. By the way, the Ibn Ezra are similar to Rashi. The Ramban is so bothered by this. He's baffled. And he's going to try and go here, he's going to try and go there, and try to understand what it means. He's going to reject Rashi. And the Ramban does this in a few different places in Chumash. You can't use Aramaic. Ramban wants to use Ivri in order to satisfy a pasuk. And he's going to say, he's kir ki hayaru uliyoto gomel nafsho ish chesed. The Ramban is going to say, no. This person, i.e. the brother, because we're actually focused on the male, not the female, this male, his job is to be ish chesed. And what's his act? Hu ocher seruach zari. And he's being cruel. Ki hayaru u'shaya ima hachesed shiyasu achim asiyah lebaal. What's the role of the brother? To find a sister or wife. To find, I don't mean. To find a sister, a husband. There's nothing better than having a brother turn to sisters and here, my best friend. I mean, if it works, right? It's very convenient. It happens. That's a lot. It happens very good. But that's the chesed. What's the chesed? What chesed should brother do for a sister? He should find her shidduch. That's what he should be doing. And what's he doing instead? He's being cruel. How does the Ramban understand chesed? Or I should say, what is chesed modifying for the Ramban? Not the act, but rather, not the act, but the intent. Very good, excellent. Their bond, their relationship, meaning what's the relationship between a brother and a sister is one of chesed. The Ramban is forced to reinterpret it. He has no choice. He's saying that the chesed is not describing the act, it's describing the relationship of the brother and the sister. Now that's all nice, but what's the problem with that interpretation, Ramban? Sorry? It appears that chesed is what? What's chesed who? The act. Chesed isn't describing the relationship. It appears it's describing the act. So we're 0 for 2. Comes along the Malbim. Fast forward a few hundred years. We started at the beginning of the Middle Ages. We're going to fast forward now to a little bit more modern. The Malbim said different interpretation. Says the Malbim ki chesed yorel haflagat hatov haflagat hara. The Malbim says no. Chesed for the Malbim is what? It means expansion. And you can have expansion for good, and you can have expansion for bad. Says the Malbim. This is an example of expansion for bad, i.e. something which is excessive, right? Expansion, or something which is excessive, right? So this is excessive evil. That's nice. What's the problem with that interpretation, perhaps? What's the problem with the Malbim? Does that sit well with you? Yeah?
Well, everywhere else that it shows up in the car, I don't know the whole car, but it seems to be that most places that it shows up, it just means for the bad. You don't really find this evenness between the time it shows up for the good and the time it shows up for the bad. It seems, and I don't know, maybe in his actual commentary he brings like the etymology of the word or something, I don't know, but
yes.
It's not here. He doesn't really explain why.
Okay, good. Where does he get this from? How does he know that there can be chesed for evil? Good point, yes.
This is sort of like a real shot at, changing around kind of the grammar of the sentence, but could you maybe say that the chesed is talking about the second half of the chesed? Like I'm just trying to anyone to say that.
You're saying
like that the chesed is maybe
is the karet. Is the karet. Only problem that I don't have I actually do have a chumash on my phone. I'm not going to pull it out. It would be interesting that the truck, if I'm not mistaken though, don't read that way. Chesed hu et nachta nichtu l'nei b'nei amam bervatachlo gilal v'no yisa. Right. So if I had to guess, if I had to hedge my bets, the chesed is marked on the first half of the pasuk. But if not, that would look very nice potentially. All right. So that's okay because we still have a few minutes to figure this out. What I want to do now is, you'll notice that by Rashi, this is very strange. I read the first line in Rashi, then I stopped. Rashi is going to quote a midrash, and I want to read the source of that midrash. Take a look. Midrasho, says Rashi, back at the top there, the source too. Im tomar kai nasa choto. If you want to tell me that Kai married his sister, Chesed asa hamakom livnos olamom mimenu. Chesed, God did an act of chesed to what? To rebuild His world, as it says in Tehillim, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. What in the world is Rashi talking about? Let's see the source that Rashi is referring to. That comes from Gemara and Sanhedrin, which is source number 3. Comes on Gemara and says the following. Tashma, mipnei malo nasa Adam et bita. Why didn't Adam marry his daughter? Kedei sheisa Kayin et achato. In order that Kayin would marry his sister. As it says, Ki amarti olam chesed yivaneh. Why didn't Adam marry his daughter? Because he wanted to reserve that for his son, Kayin. Why? Because that is a world of chesed. Continues the Gemara. Halal ha'chisut, it's aser. The father with the daughter, the brother with the sister, man, either way, is not so good. Kevan ishtare. No. Permissible. Once it's permissible, it's permissible. Well, I think we're always going to tangent about non-Jews and who can they marry. Take a look at Rashi. Explains Rashi. Chesed yibaneh. The world was built on chesed. In the beginning, Adam had to provide chesed for his son, but asr lo hitul l'Kayin. It was asr for Adam, and it was permitted for Kayin. Kedei shebana olam, b'hainu, as it says, etc., etc. Olam chesed yibaneh, with the Gemara that's usually asr, is permitted. What's going on here? What's Rashi trying to say? What's the Gemara trying to say? So, if we now have to come up with a better definition of chesed. Let's go through this together for a minute. Can you usually marry your sister or your brother? What's the answer? No, absolutely not. But God made an exception. And what did God permit? God allowed Cain to marry his sister. Maybe if that's true, we could redefine the word chesed as the following. This I wrote down. What is chesed? Acceptable deviation. You don't have this anywhere. Y'all like, what's your English? Oh, because you're looking at my piece of paper. I have a different version. Mine just a scribble. Again, chesed. Acceptable deviation from what is absolutely and what is usually forbidden in order to achieve a righteous, maybe a greater goal, a greater objective. What did God have to do? What's chesed? Chesed said, really, this should be optional. I should not do this. A brother and a sister should not conceive. But God said, listen, the world needs chesed. Why? To achieve a greater goal. What's the greater goal in this case? What's the greater goal in this case? What? To rebuild the world. This is the world is going to be mitkayem. I think to understand is a little bit better. I want to go to a Rabbi, which is on your second page. So again, chesed is this deviation from a standard of behavior to another standard of behavior which is greater, which is more important, which is so necessary. We're deviating for what is correct because there's some righteous goal that's involved. We'll come back to that a little bit later. The Rambam writes, those that study philosophy, especially the Rambam's philosophy, the Rambam says, what is the ideal person? Anybody know? How does the Rambam portray the ideal person? Ever taken any philosophy classes? The Rambam writes, the ideal person is called a chacham, and a chacham always walks in what's called the middle road. Derech habeinoni, meaning his nature, her mannerisms are all even keeled. No extremes. There's going to be one area you're allowed to be an extreme in, that is you're never ever allowed to be angry. Go to the extreme, you have to be angry. Right? But otherwise, says the Rambam, you got to be even keeled. With that, this Rambam will be very strange. Top of the page. Umi shehu medakdek al atzmo biyoter v'yitrachek mid'ah beinonit ma'at. A person who's very meticulous, very careful on himself. V'yitrachek mid'ah beinonit, and he deviates a little bit. L'tzadzeh, l'tzadzeh. He deviates a little bit. What is such a person called? A chassid. Such a person is called pious. Then he brings examples of such a person who's pious. So the question that the commentaries have to deal with, I don't understand. You want to tell me that a chacham, which is ideal, is a person who's totally beinoni. He's totally even keeled. He totally walks in the middle path. And now you want to tell me a chassid is a person who deviates a little to the right or a little to the left. Question is, I don't understand. Which one is ideal? Is ideal a chacham, what's called a beinoni, derech hayashar, or is the ideal a chassid? Aren't they mutually exclusive? How can you have both at the same time? Yes.
It's very interesting to note that, like, if you stay on the middle path, it's like you're kind of avoiding both extremes, because it's just like, I've read other philosophers that
Yes.
you want to try to, like, stay away from both extremes, because if you go on one extreme, you may go one way, if you go on another extreme, the other way. So it's like taking a little bit of both, so it's like striking this fine balance, I'm guessing, in this case. But
That's the Rambam.
so,
Yes.
so like a chacham is somebody who's in the Benoni path, and somebody who's a chassid is somebody who's like on the sort of extreme path. Like
That's almost a contradiction, no?
a little bit.
But if you take a look at the rest, take a look at the Rambam. Let's read on for a second. Ketzad. What's an example? Mishit rachek migova leiv al katzeh acharon v'yeshafel ruach v'yoter nidach. A person who's the opposite of Hadi. He walks around saying, I'm nothing, I'm a nobody. After all, my body is going to rot, and I'm just a maggot, and I'm nothing, and I'm useless. And I'm lucky if I will live tomorrow. Says the Rambam, ooh, this person's not even killed. This person is a shvaruach. He or she thinks of as nothing. Wow, what a chassid. Midat a chassidu. V'nitrachek ad ha'emtza bilvad. You go to the middle. V'ya'anav nikra chacham. By the way, go to the other end is good. Huh? He's saying, what's the balance? The balance is the person who knows when to have ga'ava and when to know to be a shvaruach. That's the midah beinoni, says the Rabbi. So a person who balances between pride and between the opposite of pride. What? Humility. Perfect. Great. That perfect balance is a beinoni, a chacham. But if a person says I'm schmutz, I'm nothing, I'm a nobody, that person is a chassid. Lady, which one's better? Which one's ideal? Well, they're both ideal. How can they both be ideal? And that question of how can they both be ideal is asked by the Lechem Mishnah at the bottom of the page. Kol adam shedata beinoni nikra chasid. Article Lashon. Yesh l'achshav b'drav tuva. Lots of questions to ask on this Rambam. Kosher. Harei la'al b'zeh perek katav sheshtei aksavot einam derech tova. The Rambam writes elsewhere that if you go in extreme, it's not a good thing. And if a person is tipping one way, oh my goodness, I'm becoming too humble. No. Become more even keeled. Go find the proper balance. The Lechem Mishnah says, I don't understand. How could the Rambam in one breath say be a chacham? At the same time, what does he say? There's people who are really pious and they're so humble. They're like the shematas of society. They allow people to walk all over them. Wow, what a chassid. Midat a chassidus. Kalim a rebbe. Right? Usually rabbis don't do those things. This is a challenge. How are we supposed to understand what is going on here? So I think we understand when the Rambam, something very powerful about the Rambam. And to understand the Rambam, to understand what it means of chesed, to understand this pasuk in the Torah, we're going to go to one of my favorite commentators, and I'm very excited. You know why I'm excited? I just upgraded my Bar Ilan CD, and you're like, okay, that's nice. And in the new edition, actually it just came out with 20, but I have 19. And in 19, they have Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch in Hebrew, which I like using. And it's very simple. Instead of having to go and photocopy it, to scan it, and to put it in as a picture in a document, I can now copy and paste. I'm ecstatic. This is the first time using it, so I'm very excited. Take a look. Says Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch. He's going to define for us, and this is on our pasuk in Chumash. He's going to define for us what a man of chesed really is, a person of chesed. Then afterwards, we're going to plug it into the pasuk. Let's first understand what the chesed really means. Here we go. Chesed, listen to this. Im hu ma'afen et ma'asehu shel isha chesed atzmo. A character, a person, who is a person of chesed, a person who acts out of chesed. Says the Rambam is a person, arehu mora al hitmas fruit. Ila'it lishlama shel acher. He's going way above the call of duty. Listen to this. First definition. A person who does chesed goes above the call of duty. Wow. Sounds like a good thing, no? Isn't someone who goes above the call of duty? Right? That's wonderful. We get like medals and awards for those things. To go above the call of duty. Not necessarily. Hareze mitat lifnei mishurat hadin. Above the letter of the law. Chesed is the following. The Rambam, Rav Hirsch is saying, he wants to argue it. A person who does chesed is going above the call of duty. Ladies, when you go above the call of duty, you have to be 100% certain about something. You know what you have to be 100% certain of? What you're doing is the right thing. I will explain. In the world that we live in, duty is the perfect balance of existence. What do I mean? For the Rambam, when the Rambam writes the middle path, the Midah HaBeinonit, for the Rambam, this is the balance. This is the duty that everybody has, the obligation. This is the equilibrium of society. This is the chacham. But do we live in the ideal world? Is the world that we live in really perfectly balanced? Is every single one of us doing what we need to be doing? Is every single one of us walking this perfect tightrope? Most probably not. We don't live in this perfect world where everyone's fulfilling their duty and responsibilities. Therefore, what is the Chassid doing? A Chassid says, the world is not perfect. I'm accepting greater responsibility on myself. It's not my duty. My duty is to be Chacham. All our duties be Chacham. But the Chassid says, I'm going to accept upon myself something greater than the obligation, greater than my responsibility. Because I live in an imperfect world. So when a Chassid deviates from the mean, to some extent, the world remains imperfect. Why does the world remain imperfect? Because what should this person be doing? This person should really not be going above the duty. Someone else should be doing their duty, and he shouldn't need to go above the call of duty. But this understanding of chesed, of going above the call of duty, is a totally higher standard. It reflects these imperfections of the world. And to some extent, it sustains the perfection. It allows the imperfection to continue to exist in the world that we live in. So that individual helps someone else above the call of duty is wonderful. For the micro, it's excellent. But for the macro, for the greater picture, to some extent, it's evil. But the verse says that a person goes above the call of duty is chesed. That is true everywhere in the entire Torah. No, it is. It's a chesed. Yosef buries his father. Does he need to bury his father in Mat Machpelah? It's a shlech. It's far. You obligated to take your father? Okay, maybe make the shuvah before he dies. Maybe, but simple, shot. I ask you, do me a favor, bury me 1,000 kilometers from pain in the neck. I'll bury you here. Yosef doesn't even ask you to do that for him. What does Yosef say? Eventually you'll bring me back. Boom. Yaakov doesn't say that. Why not? That's a different story. Chesed. Rivka. Doling out 30 liters of water for 10 camels. 300 liters of water. She's obligated to provide 300 liters of water. I don't know how many liters, and there's like 20 or, those big glug glugs? I don't know what they're called in English. You know those water cooler thingies? How many liters of water are there? 19, 20, I have no idea, right? Imagine drawing by hand, like a machine, on a towel. She didn't need to do that. She's above the call of duty. Way above the call of duty. if that's true, sometimes chesed is a tragedy. It's an imposition. It's not wanted, and in fact, it's evil. How is it possible to have something like evil from chesed? I'll give an example. Imagine there's like Boy Scouts. You have Boy Scouts. And the guy is standing at the traffic light. In order to get his Boy Scout badge, what does he have to do? He has to help an old lady cross the street. So what does he do? He's standing at Clark and Bathurst. He sees an old lady. He goes, great! And he says, come! He pushes her across. She's like, takes her a little break. Goes, bash her over the head 5 times. Goes, I want to go this way. I don't want to cross the other side of Bathurst. I want to head south on Bathurst. What did this guy do? He so badly wanted to do chesed. He wanted to go above the call of duty. She didn't even ask him. He imposed his chesed on somebody else. When you impose your chesed on somebody else, what you're doing is not meritorious. It's a fact. Evil. Why is it evil? Because you're focused on yourself. I want to help somebody. Poor you. You're a never. You're pathetic. Let me help you. Look at me. I'm great. See, chesed can come from a very bad source. Chesed, sometimes people do good things for other people because it gives them pride. Ego. Nebuch, this kid. Disabilities. How are we going to help him? Here's my shoe. Right? Or, I do it, you know why? This guy gave me a gift. I'm really smart. But I don't need to study because I can help all these people. Sometimes, I'm not saying chas for sham, not always. Chesed can come sometimes from a very bad place. Question? Yeah.
Like all those things are ulterior motives. Like they're all like, oh, because I need to finish my Boy Scout thing, or because I need to build up my resume. It's not, oh, there's an old lady. It looks like she needs help. Let me help her. So like that's not really pure chesed if you're doing it for another reason.
So anytime you do, that's actually you can see a pasuk that almost says exactly what you just said. Chesed exists. So let's take a look. The world that we live in has a sense of, this imperfection. So what do we need in this world? Let's use this lady, right? It shouldn't be that she should be alone at the court. Where are her children? Where's her nephew? Why is it that some strangers up across the street? Where are relatives? So we see there's an imbalance. There's something wrong that exists. Right? She should be helped by others. So, we say, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. The world could not exist without Chesed. Meaning, since we don't live in a perfect world, that's just the way things are though. You need Chesed to sustain it. You need to go above. We all just did our duty. We would not live in a very positive world. If everyone in the whole world did everything they're supposed to be doing, we would live in a great world. But that's not the reality. We need people to do chesed. Right? To some extent, chesed recognizes that we don't exist in a perfect world. And at the same time, chesed could be detrimental. Right? Meaning it has a wonderful aspect of things. It's trying to correct this imperfection that exists, but if it's done from the wrong spot, i.e. for egotistical reasons, right? If it's for my resume, like you said, or for Boy Scouts, right? So that can be very dangerous.
But is that fall into the category of chesed, or is that what you're arguing that Rabbi said?
Rabbi said chesed is always going above the call of duty.
It's an action, not an intention.
Oh, very good. It's the act of chesed. Very good. For Rabbi, chesed is always the act. And that'll fit very nicely if you plug back into our pasuk. Right? Chesed by definition is an act. As for chesed the emet there is the intent. That's also very possible. So, what's ideal? Ideally, we should never do chesed, ideally. Ideally, we should live in a perfectly balanced world, and we should strive for this equality. What do I mean? Rabbi Akiva has a famous statement. Right at the beginning of Hilchot Shabbos, Rabbi Akiva says the following: Asay Shabbat Chachol v'al titzarech labriyot. Here's a person. We'll call him George. George has only enough money to have 2 meals on Shabbos, not 3. Or George only has enough money to make his Shabbos meals look like a Tuesday meal. What does a Shabbos meal look like? It's 18 courses long. Just count the forks, right? And then you count the spoons, and then we have so many courses, not enough to go to the right, left, gotta go above. You notice that? There's like spoons also on all sides. Right? Let me look. There's like all these courses, right? And you have to have 3. I mean, my wife goes up, right? You can't have, if you do some one glass, you're insulting them on Shabbos. You still wine, and then if you're some guys, you also shot glass and nachamula glass, right? So you gotta have 3 glasses. You gotta have 4, right? That's the Shabbos. So let's say there's a person who can't afford all this. He can afford a simple, basic meal, like Shabbaton meals, right? Says Rabbi Akiva. Asay Shabbat Chachol. Shulchan Aruch brings this down in Halakha. Better to have your Shabbos meal look like a Tuesday meal than it is in the last place. But what happens if you have nothing for Shabbos? Go to Tofet Shabbos, and they have to provide you a meal, not for Tuesday. What meal do they have to provide you? For Shabbos. But if you have enough to make your Shabbos look like a Tuesday, don't ask for handouts. Why? Because to some extent, the greatest thing that you can do is to ensure there's still balances. And if you need chesed, you're adding fuel to the fire. What's that fire called? It's imbalance. The world has to have chesed. Try not to feed the fuel of chesed if you can. You have no choice. Look, if you lose your job, unfortunately tragic things happen, then for sure, no problem. We'll do the chesed, but it's not ideal. Ideally, we should never have to live in the world of chesed. Yes?
Sorry, I'm looking at this because I remember there was something about like Brooks should have kind of gone because she didn't have that. So where's that?
Well, if you take a look, this actually was very well. For in the Megillah, again, this is a little bit. Take a look at each situation. Let's go back to the first case. Did Alpi, simple halacha, etiquette, ethics, whatever word you want to use, did Ruth have to stay with Naomi and return back to Eretz Canaan, to Israel? Of course not. What did she do? Chesed. She didn't have to. She's not obligated. Her husband died. She can stay in Chuzaretz. I mean, for her it's right? I mean, after all, he kind of went off the derech to some extent. Right? He moved out of the land of Israel. He threw up the white flag and gave up during the time of need. He was all very critical, right, of their family. But she said, no, I'm going to do a chesed. Okay, so why did she feel she had to? She had to. And in the end, what came from it? Olam chesed yivarech in David HaMelech. Right? David comes with a topic for another time. But we see, and by the way, interesting, the Gemara says, Olam chesed yivarech. The world only came to existence if not for chesed. Cain would never have had children. Right? So if Cain doesn't have children, man, there's no world. Olam chesed yivarech. The world is only sustained because of chesed. Right? And that's the way the fabric of the world almost was created to some extent. As a non-ideal, but that's the reality. Yeah.
But you were saying before that we should avoid chesed.
Yes.
Do you mean as in taking chesed or doing chesed?
Taking chesed. Yeah.
So if we're saying that in the ideal world there shouldn't be chesed, then what? I understand. I guess as soon as the world was created, it had to have chesed. Like, then why does chesed say, "Oh, I'm chesed"? That's not the ideal.
So it appears. So again, because the world is not an ideal world. God didn't. I'll give you an example. The world isn't perfect. There's tsunamis, and there's cancer, and there's hurricanes. The world isn't perfect. So right? So to some extent, there's a hurricane that's going to destroy 3 houses. Now we have to do chesed, right? We have to help these poor people and go above the call of duty, or else they're not going to survive.
But when the world was first created with Adam and Hava, obviously they're only going to have their children are going to be siblings. So.
Right. So it appears, right?
The
So
world
you're right.
was created with the imperfection, but
right.
it was created not in
So,
ideal.
by the way, I think that is how you resolve the Rambam. The Rambam says that both are ideal. Meaning, the ideal is to be a Benoni and to be a Chassid. How's that possible? How's that possible? When you need to be a Chassid, you gotta be a Chassid. But what is the default? You gotta strive to be a Benoni. So sometimes there'll be situations where you have to stop being a Benoni and become a Chassid. I think that's a challenge of the world, when to go back and forth, when to do one, when to do the other. So, if we let's go back to this puzzle for a minute. What should be the ideal relationship between a brother and a sister? So the truth is, and y'all probably can relate to this, a brother and a sister can never have a perfect relationship that's totally equal. Why? Because when you have a siblings, you always have one sibling who's older. It's possible, even if you're twins, from the exact same second, right? And generally speaking, the older sibling will dominate over the younger sibling. Or, in some cases, the younger sibling, because of special talent situations, might dominate the older sibling. Siblings can never be perfectly equal. A husband and a wife must be equal. And therefore, when the situation where you have this sibling tension and a lack of equilibrium is in this puzzle. What's the chesed? What does it mean here in this puzzle, chesed? What's chesed who? This is a chesed. There's a total unequal relationship between the two of them. And there's no better way to demonstrate that than with siblings. Because siblings, by definition, are always unequal. So that's why, and this is what our verse is referring to, why does the Torah specifically call in our pasuk chesed? Because this chesed is an unequal relationship. And the way the pasuk describes it, it's the brother who's dominating over his sister. And therefore, there's a sense of, it's incest, a sense of lust. It's really, in a real proper relationship, there needs to be equal. If in a relationship there's imbalance, it's going to be a terrible relationship. Right? Not just physically, but also emotionally, psychologically. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you combine that with the Rambam? And just be like, the chesed of the brothers combined with the wife, like go above and beyond.
Because the Ramban is describing, what's the Ramban describing?
Yeah. No, what I'm saying, if he's describing
the relationship.
The real relationship. If he's saying that the real act of chesed is to find your sister a husband, then couldn't you say he's above and beyond the call of duty by marrying her himself?
So he's not, because that's not, he can never marry her, because there's innately this imbalance in the relationship. By marrying her, that imbalance doesn't exist. By definition, that relationship can never, ever, ever be what a relationship is supposed to be.
According to Rabbi's explanation.
So, yeah.
Where you're saying sometimes you go above and beyond the,
So again, chesed is going above the call of duty.
Right,
but, this is a negative way. So that's what the verse says. That this is why it's the chesed, because going way above the call of duty for negative reasons. Because you can never, when you have a physical relationship with somebody, that relationship must be balanced. So therefore, he's going above the call of duty in a negative way. So he's able to use, which is what's nice about reverse, he's using the word chesed to describe the act, which is exactly, it's very nice for possible. Yeah.
I know this is a little bit of a different situation, but what about when daughters and stuff, and they were rewarded on it?
They were? What they were rewarded with?
But wasn't it like...
I'm not like, no?
No, wasn't it like...
It's not so good.
Wasn't it that like... I wouldn't know that. Yeah.
Oh, no more? No? I'm no more. That's also good. I'm no more. Good.
No, I mean like wasn't it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like...
So, right, so, you say the same thing with Noah and his kids, right? How was with Noah? Also, no? Perhaps. Hillel, they had some uncovered nakedness of some sort. Exactly what happens is over there. It could be that they have this special intent, that their intent is to be righteous in a good way. But if their act is a bad act, maybe they get the reward much later on. I.e., what's later on in many generations is so much good. I think immediately it's looked upon as negative act. When we talk about, just to summarize to end off here, it's interesting to note that in Christianity, celibacy for Catholicism is the highest ideal, right? Priest is supposed to be celibate. Why? Because their view of the physical relationship is one which is by definition totally negative. And therefore, you can never have a balanced relationship with somebody, and therefore it has to be totally thrown away. Whereas Judaism says no, that's the ideal relationship between two people who are totally equal. One does not dominate over, one is not better than the other, one is not worse than, it must be a total. That is the ideal relationship that a person has to have. It's only between a husband and wife, which I think is interesting. Okay, so I think we started off this evening. We're trying to understand what does chesed mean. How do we understand that two siblings are involved in an act that the Torah describes as chesed? I think Rav Hirsch's interpretation of what chesed is going above the call of duty. Going above the call of duty for the Rambam sometimes can be okay. It recognizes that the world we live in is imperfect, which is negative if we're always trying to feed that fire, if we're allowing everyone not to become self-sufficient. But if we strive, by the way, what's the highest form of tzedakah? The joke, right? Give a man the fish, he eats for a meal a day. Teach a man, how hungry you are. Teach a man to fish and eats for a lifetime. Why? Because self-sufficiency doesn't require, you can say to yourself, wait a second, why? Let me give you fish. I'd rather give you fish every single day next 100 years. Why would you want to fish every day for the next 120 years? Right? Wouldn't you rather? You'd think for a minute, it'd be better to have Bill, what did I pick up before? George or Bill? George, right? Better to have George receive every day a fish and let him sit and do nothing all day long. Why should he learn how to fish? He'll eat the exact same amount of food every day. No. Better that you don't give stock up. Isn't that amazing? Don't give that person stocks. Teach him how to fish. Because then it becomes self-sufficient. Because then you don't need chesed. And so we have to create a world that doesn't need chesed. We should create a situation where you don't need having to help people. Now, is that really going to happen? Unlikely. Just to conclude, I want to show you, with this you understand a very difficult pasuk, not just in Nach, happens also in my birth parsha. Take a look. And there's really more I wanted to focus on, but the time is late. And maybe we'll come back to this at another time over the next few weeks. Because over the next few weeks, I should advertise, we're taking different aspects of chesed. Whether it's the mitzvah of Bikur Chalim, Achnasat Kala, what really, right, something which is the most difficult in the entire world, is going to Shabbat. And we understand both the halacha and the hashkafa, and they're both related to each other. I think we'll have hopefully a much deeper understanding of what we're going to be doing. That's the goal of the next number of weeks. Let me just end with this. So 1 second. Look at the end. Higib and Micha. Higib lecha damatov. Tell the person what's good. What does God want from you? Asud mishpat. Action. Do. Nike. Mishpat. Justice. However, chesed. Love chesed. Vatnei lachet im elokecha. What does this pasuk mean? It's saying the following. You can have ahava chesed. You can love doing chesed. You can love trying to help people. But when you do something for somebody, do it out of mishpat. What do I mean? You're a boss. And someone just, I don't know, worked in your store for a day, a week, a month, and you give them their paycheck. Are you giving them chesed? They deserve it. Mishpat. You do things for people. Why? Mishpat. Duty. You go around doing things with chesed, and you walk around saying, I'm better than you. Poor you, you're a nebuch. I'm going to help you. Because I'm better than you, greater than you. I dominate over you, I rule over you. I have more money than you. I'm stronger than you, smarter than you. When you do things for other people, do them out of mishpat. It's your duty. I'm obligated. What should your emotional state be? Love. When you help people, it has to be total love. But your action, your emotional state of mind should be one of love. When you do the act, don't portray that you're doing it out of chesed, because that shows a new balance. When you do it to someone, you say, you know what, I'm not helping you because I'm being nice to you. You know what I'm helping you? I have a duty, responsibility to help you. But doing it, and to some extent, I believe this gives people a much greater sense of dignity. It gives people a much greater sense of purpose. It removes the shame, and it makes people more human. It gives people their sense of dignity. It returns to them their tzelem elokim. And with that, perhaps a different understanding of chesed. I don't want people to think that, don't do chesed anymore for people. I think our attitude, perhaps, of why we do things for other people. Sometimes we have to really think in our hearts and our minds, why we want to help people. What is the underlying attitude towards helping people? And hopefully, one day we will live in the world, but we will not need chesed. We will only be able to act out of mishpat to some extent. Mishpat l'elokim hu. Perek Aleph in Sefer Bereshit, nature is all about mishpat. To some extent, mishpat maybe is really the ideal. And hopefully one day all of us will experience the ideal. There's a perfect balance. When everyone fills their duties and responsibilities, we'll no longer need chesed. We'll have the perfect balance where everyone really becomes self-sustainable. No one will need help. Each and every day. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you so much.